Am I the asshole here for telling my wife that I will lose respect for her if she doesn't apologize? My wife and I have 3 kids. Thursday, my wife was helping our 9-year-old with her homework. She was supposed to fill in a chart with the times tables. That was a hectic day. Our 4-year-old threw up, and I was trying to clean him up, and my wife was having trouble getting our 9-year-old to focus on what she was doing because she kept looking at me. Our 9-year-old hates math and is pretty bad at it, which annoys my wife, who is usually fantastic at math. My wife asked our daughter what 7 times 7 was. Our daughter said she didn't know. My wife kept telling her to try to think of any answer. She kept saying she didn't know. My wife was getting frustrated. Our daughter finally guessed 37. My wife said, "Close, 47. Our 13-year-old then said, "No, Mum, it's 49. My wife snapped at that point and told him to shut up and go upstairs. He went into the backyard instead. She took a deep breath and then went into our room. I finished with our 4-year-old and then went outside. I tried to talk to him, but he didn't want to listen. He kept saying, "But Dad, 7 times 7 is 49. I told him his mum just got frustrated and didn't mean to yell at him. He kept insisting that 7 times 7 is 49, which I'm aware of, so I got nowhere. I went back inside to talk to my wife. She said she knew she shouldn't have yelled at him. She said she was frustrated because he was distracting her, and that's why she made the mistake. I pointed out that she made the mistake before he said anything. She started crying and asked why I was being so critical. I apologized and told her that I loved her. We hugged it out, but then I asked her if she was going to go and apologize to our 13-year-old. She said no because he shouldn't have interrupted her. She said he was rude and needed to learn not to interrupt. I told her it's not okay to tell him to shut up. We went back and forth, and finally, I said I won't be able to respect her as much if she doesn't apologize. That really hurt her. She said she needed space. She hasn't said a word to me or him since Thursday. I know that what I said is harsh, but I can't respect someone who won't apologize when they make a mistake. Am I the asshole here? My sister says I am because I'm not being supportive, and our 13-year-old is a lot. In the comments, a lot of people forget that adults aren't always right and children aren't always wrong. She needs to apologize for snapping at your child. OP says, I told her that, but she said that it has nothing to do with the math problem and that it's about his bad habit of interrupting. I think that since he was trying, and succeeding really, to be helpful, that doesn't count as interrupting. He didn't interrupt. He offered a correction which his sibling actually needed. Your wife was wrong. Would have made your kids wrong, and your 13-year-old was actually being helpful. Is your son really a lot? Or is he just dismissed so often that he finds other ways of getting attention? I mean, this is a very small glimpse into your family dynamics, but this story just made me feel really badly for your kid. He kept saying it's 49 because he's right and wanted it acknowledged. All your wife had to say was, "Oh, oops, you're right," and used that as a lesson to help your 9-year-old learn that it's okay to be wrong, and even when you're good at something, you can still make a mistake. The fact that your wife has iced out her husband and son over multiplication is frankly embarrassing and juvenile. OP replies, "A lot is vague and kind of unfair. I used that phrase only because my sister did. He's 13. He never wants to come inside when we tell him to. He always wants to take the dog on a walk or ride his bike, even if the sun is down, which we don't allow. He frequently wants to practice his recorder when we've told him that it's quiet time. These are behaviors that we are working on, but they do seem to be getting to my wife. As for the interrupting, it is an issue that we are working on. I don't think it justifies snapping. It should be an ongoing conversation. I also don't feel like this counts as interrupting because he was trying to be helpful, not derail the topic." Emily Ann replies, "I would take a good hard look at he never wants to come inside when we tell him to, and maybe think about why that might be, instead of looking at it as a problem that he's causing for you. Right now, he's just enduring days of passive-aggressive silent treatment when he didn't even do anything wrong, and you can't figure out why he wants to stay outside the house longer instead of coming into the hostility and tension. You got nowhere trying to talk to him because you were making excuses for his mum's bad behavior toward him, and he desperately wanted to validate that he was right. And yet you said that he didn't want to listen because he didn't agree to sweep his mother's nastiness under the rug to keep the peace. Good for him. Dude, please stand up for your kids. All of that and then some, OP. Please, your wife obviously has a listening problem here. Don't you contribute to that one too. It's no good for your kids. What example are you guys setting for the future of healthy, transparent communication that you claim to want to be promoting in the household, yet instances like this where those lessons you're trying to instill are the most important? You are failing, and you refuse to acknowledge that you are failing, and you're only further harming your child. Your wife was incredibly out of line in this instance, and you seemed to make up with her personally, but you didn't do anything to help her reconnect and apologize to your son. You guys really need to have a serious sit down about this one, and if it doesn't improve, you guys do need to get some family counseling to figure out what you're doing wrong. She says he's the one with the problem when he didn't actually do anything wrong. She's saying he's childish. That's just projection. Please do something about your wife. And now, onto the update. So my wife got up before our alarm and started cleaning our bathroom. I started the laundry and made breakfast. She didn't say a word when she sat down to eat. She ate much faster than normal. She stood up, picked up our 4-year-old, and told our 9-year-old to get ready because they were going to the library. She didn't say anything to our 13-year-old. I told her that we need to talk, and she shook her head. I followed her upstairs and insisted that we need to talk. She just kept shaking her head. She went into our 4-year-old's room and locked the door. I went downstairs and told our 13-year-old and 9-year-old that we are going to the dog park. They both asked if Mum was okay, and I said yes, and that she needed space. I grabbed some clothes for our 9-year-old from the laundry room, and she got changed in the downstairs bathroom. We are at the dog park, and my wife is refusing to answer my texts. I'm starting to think that this isn't about math. And I say good luck to you going forward from here, OP, because that does not sound like a fun time at all. I hope that whatever troubles she's having, you guys can figure it out in a healthy way together. Because that's no way to treat you, and that's no way to treat your kids, over something that she started, over something that is her fault. Please consider coming back with a further update as to what you've done to resolve this situation, because right now, this is incredibly passive-aggressive and childish from her end. Our next post is by user Strange Cut, and it's titled, "Am I the asshole for wanting to charge an 11-year-old for theft and destruction of property?" So about a week and a half ago, my son's phone was taken from his bag at primary school. I managed to track it using Find My iPhone, and it led me to a house. From that house, I banged on the front door and was answered by a mum. I explained that I tracked my son's phone to this house, and from there, discovered that her son and 2 of his friends had just been there. She calls him, and then I follow her in my car to a second kid's house. At this house, all 3 kids are there, and I tell them that I don't care who stole it, just hand it back and it's done. All 3 kids swear black and blue that they have never seen it and don't know nothing about it. I exchange numbers with the mum from the first house and the dad from the second house, and then I have to leave knowing full well that one of them has it. I get home and receive a call from the mum from the first house. She has checked the security cameras from her house and discovered the kid from the second house who swore that they've never had a phone is miraculously holding a phone in the footage. This has already been sent to my dad, and next minute, I get a message from the guilty kid's mum asking if she can come to my house. Her and her son arrive teary-eyed and apologetic. I just ask for the phone back, and she shakes her head, saying that he has smashed and destroyed it. It was only an iPhone XE, so not expensive, but as a single mum working full-time, that was my only means of communication with my son. She asks if she can go buy me a phone now, but I ask if she just contributes $100 and I will find a similar phone off Marketplace, as I prefer an iPhone, as I connect it to mine and can monitor parental controls and other settings. She agrees and is happy to pay that. It has been over a week now, and she's now stopped replying to any messages and won't answer my calls. Last message I sent was me saying if I didn't receive payment, I would report and charge her 11-year-old. So am I the asshole if I charge him for theft and destruction of property? Also, as a side note, I have camera footage, admission of guilt in her text messages, and agreeing that she would pay, as well as her son admitting to the school that he stole it as well. So I have enough evidence to go forward. Bit of a case of actions have consequences here, right? I think you have been above and beyond and reasonable in this situation, OP. I don't even think you bother with these threats anymore, just file that report. She obviously lied to you about giving you that money to make the problem go away, so why would you trust that this threat is going to do anything? Perhaps the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree in this situation. Also, I think that kid needs consequences for his shitty behavior, or else he'll never learn from this. I think one hard lesson would beat a lifetime of repeat drama. It's not like the kid is gonna magically grow out of this phase if no one calls it out, so please do that, OP. And now, onto the update. So after not responding to my messages for over a week, I messaged last night saying that I was going to go to the police in the morning to make a report. And the money was transferred this morning. I read all the comments, why I didn't report first, and it's because I guessed I waited so long, as I still want to think that people will do the decent thing, and didn't want to have to go down the police road for a minor amount, as they have more important things to do. At the end of the day, though, I'm not going to raise my son to be walked all over and to stick to your word. But all sorted now. That's great, OP. A lot less dramatic than I would have hoped it to be, but I still wish he just went straight to the cops. But at the same time, I know that his future behavior and his outcomes are not your problem. Like, it is not your job to give him the consequences for his actions right now so he doesn't do it again in the future. And that's fine, I agree with that. I say good luck to that mother with whatever behavior this spirals into in the future. And also, thank God I don't have kids, and I don't have a shit son like that is going to go cause trouble that I will have to then bail him out of, like his mum has in this instance. So, good luck to her. Thumbs up to that one. Our next post is by user rumthief1, and it's titled, "How do I, male 32, deal with my fiancé's, female 34, brother-in-law going forward?" So me and my significant other are getting married in February next year. Been together nearly 8 years. I absolutely love that woman, and we work so well together. But her brother-in-law has always been a pain in the ass from the start. He very quickly decided for some reason that the best way to deal with me is just to pretend that I'm not there. If I ask him a question or how he's doing, he won't respond. He'll talk to other people around us exclusively, such as his wife, his sister, mother, and family friends. It's gotten to the point that I know that there's other people who have mentioned it to him, but he doesn't care. I've tried to have a conversation with him at least once, but we've never even had that. The most I've ever got from him was how was I doing, and whether I wanted a coffee once. Things got quite distressful during the COVID pandemic, as he was getting married in that time. So when he had to reduce numbers, he uninvited me and asked my mother-in-law-to-be to tell my significant other. This devastated her and me. Yes, he had to reduce numbers, but it conveniently turned out that I was the only partner who wouldn't be invited as a +1 at that point. I was then re-invited when numbers and wedding restrictions lifted and seriously considered not going. But I went as my significant other begged me. Since he and his wife have had children, I feel more tense. I don't feel welcome at his home. I know his wife tries to talk to me to include me in things, but it just makes things awkward when he clearly tries to have conversations in the room with others as if I'm not there. He tells his children to hug his sister and doesn't mention me. I've heard what he says when I'm not around, but not all of it. About how it's not natural for families to have same-sex parents, or how immigrants are taking over the country and the nation is losing its way, or jokes about mixed-race couples. But since none of it is ever mentioned when I'm around, I'm limited in what I can do. The prospect of having to endure this for the rest of my life is a worrying one. I've spoken with my partner about it, and it upsets her. I feel awful as she wants him to come to the wedding and I don't anymore, even if he won't have an active role in it. I feel I've been treated invisibly for too long to want him there, and she says she can't help how he acts, but since her father passed away 10 years ago, he is the last link that she's got to him. She has suggested asking him not to come with great effort, but then that means that our sister-in-law won't come. So how do I resolve this? This piece of shit is coming to the wedding. I've cut out others from the RSVP list who have treated me poorly this year, but he's exempt. How do I just accept it? Edit, I should clarify, he's her brother and my brother-in-law-to-be. I take what he says when I'm not around a bit more seriously, as I'm also a minority. In the comments, Square OK says, "It's your significant other's responsibility to stand up for you and speak to her sibling. Set hard boundaries, and at the very minimum, ensure that you are treated with respect. How is she okay with tolerating this treatment? It shouldn't happen at all." OP replies, "She's definitely not okay with it, but she feels stuck. I don't hold her responsible for his choices. She has tried to talk to him. He doesn't care, but it's hard explaining to people how others who have treated us poorly were uninvited from the wedding, such as one of my aunts and some cousins, but he still gets to come. She's not stuck. She's a big girl and has every right to demand that you be treated with respect. Just because it's her brother doesn't mean that you have to tolerate him and his ignorance." DC Purple Tart says, "I have more of an issue with your future wife, honestly. I would never let my brother talk to my fiancé that way or treat him differently. I would go low contact with my own sibling to protect my partner. That is what we do. It's what your fiancé should be doing. Unfortunately, if this is how it's been for 8 years, it doesn't sound like much is going to change. The sister-in-law hasn't helped. The in-laws haven't helped. Your fiancé hasn't helped. Sad to say, but this is your life unless you do something to change it. If it had been this long, I would call a family meeting with the 6 of you and figure it out. There is no room for that level of disrespect in families." OP says, "He doesn't talk to me like that. He just doesn't acknowledge me at all. She has had a go at him when I'm not around. He just doesn't care. He's even accused her of acting black before, just because she was watching some TV. What does that mean? Oh my god! That's crazy. She doesn't let it happen any more than she's responsible for his choices. She has, with great sadness, said he can be uninvited, but then I feel like shit when that comes up." DC Purple Tart replies, "Got it. Still really stinks. I think if your fiancé is okay with uninviting him, then you shouldn't feel bad. You should only have people at your wedding that fully support you both and your marriage. He clearly can't do that, and you can say exactly that if anyone has an issue with his non-invitation." OP replies, "She's not alright with uninviting him though. She's only suggested it to make me happy. But it's not something that she really wants, as then her sister-in-law won't come, and neither will her niece and nephew." I mean, for me personally, I wouldn't let him come to the wedding. He said horrendously racist things behind your back, and he's obviously too much of a bitch to say it in front of your face because he knows it's wrong. And your fiancé, for all intents and purposes, is accepting of that behavior if she wants him to come to the wedding. Having him in the wedding and be a part of it is not an exemption to her accepting that this is who he is and she is okay with this behavior. She has said that she's not okay with this behavior. So why do her actions not follow her words? Is she just giving you lip service, OP? Your question, how do I accept how I'll be treated by my brother-in-law from my significant other going forward? Don't accept it. It's your wedding as much as it is hers. This is a 2 yes, 1 no situation. If she can't find a compromise in this 2 yes, 1 no situation, and this is a hill that you will die on, and in my opinion should die on, then that's just something she'll have to accept. If she wants to be with you this bad, then she will deal with it. And now, on to the update. Hi all. I did a post about a month ago covering this issue that I was having. I don't know if Reddit has been the best place to go, but it's cathartic to at least write out how I'm feeling. The comments are appreciated, even the criticisms. While I haven't been able to respond and see every single one, I truly do understand and appreciate where they're coming from. So, I had spoken with my significant other about the fact that her racist, misogynistic brother is coming to the wedding. In fact, up until last week, we've been having a lot of arguments about it. I'd explained how awful it feels that someone who uninvited me from his wedding gets to come to ours with the things that he says and does and how he's treated me these past 8 years. My significant other has said in turn that the situation is complicated. They always say that. There was a time where he wasn't always this twisted and there were good moments with him. He'd also looked out for her and his mother when his father died unexpectedly about 10 years ago, and she won't have him have an active role in the wedding. She'll only have him in photos with her and her mother, and he'll be a passive participant at the wedding, not an active one. I pointed out that it's the fact that he's coming at all. Things came to a head a couple of weeks ago. We stayed up really late on a work night talking about it. That day, I had told her that I would be starting therapy again, as her decision about her brother cut me quite deeply, and I need to do some work on it. She didn't fight to defend his place in the wedding this time. Instead, she apologized. She said she underestimated how inviting him, which she states was a really hard decision for her, would make me feel, and for that, she's sorry. She now has to accept that she's made the wrong decision. She feels guilty because she thought that it was the best choice overall compared to potentially compromising the relationship with the sister-in-law and nephew and niece, and that she agonized over the decision. I told her that it didn't seem like she struggled all that much, especially with how hard she fought and argued for him to have a place there. I told her that I see her differently now, as I've never seen her fight that hard for anything, and then she fights for him. She apologized and said she knows that she made the weak decision and wishes that there was someone that I could invite that would make her uncomfortable, just so that she could feel better and tolerate it for me. What the fuck? She says she knows that I can do better with someone else who wouldn't be as weak, who could have made a hard decision, and she has to live with what she's done. Apparently, her friends are also questioning her on it, although she won't give me names, and I'm suspect to how true that statement was. I know my mother did, and like a fool, I argued against my mum to defend her. The next day, I'd told her that there was a part of me which actually considered leaving. Of course, things blew up. It came up again about how hard the decision was for her. I'd explained that I know how complicated family situations can be. My abusive, drug-addicted father had single custody of me virtually my whole childhood over my mother, and in the end, I had to make the hard choice to cut him off completely. I've even uninvited some of my closest family members because of how they acted at my sister's wedding, and then towards my significant other and me. She offered to tell her brother not to come, but I feel after all the arguments we've had, and how I never really got asked for my opinion on it, it feels too little too late despite her guilt. And as much as I'm trying not to, there is a part of me that hates myself and resents her. I said to her that I feel as if someone with more self-respect would have stopped tolerating all of this long ago. I started therapy this Thursday past. It was good, hard, but good. The problem is, as I said to my significant other, this whole situation's been a kick in the teeth to me. And as much as she's sorry, I see her differently. The part I'd never mentioned to her is that I've never seen her fight this hard for herself, for her to lose weight. She's obese, or for me. And, as the therapist pointed out, I need to process that I don't feel as safe anymore, as comfortable to be open with her, and that's going to take time. But even then, I know that things won't be the same anymore. So how do I move forward from here? In the comments, I Love Cupcake says, "Why are you marrying someone that you don't feel safe with emotionally and who has prioritized other people's feelings and comfort over yours for what is supposed to be a day celebrating the two of you?" OP replies, "Up until this year, I didn't know that she would be capable of something like this. We had our problems, but we worked through them. We supported and talked with each other. This was a kick in the teeth, as while I get that family is rightly a non-negotiable, He's simply that unpleasant that I felt a line should have been drawn. She even called him a blight on her life yesterday. Glassgirl replies, except this didn't just start with a wedding invitation. She's been sitting idly by while he treated you like shit for years. Insisting on inviting him may be the first overt act, but she hasn't been a good partner. I think it's interesting how easily she made herself the victim in this situation. Oh, sis, you are such a victim. You fucker, OP. You know how hard this is on me with me being the villain? I wish that you were also the villain in this situation. I wish there was someone you could invite that made her uncomfortable so that she could feel better about herself and tolerate that for me. I'm so sure that she would just tolerate it and put up with it and not fight even harder against you than you are fighting against her right now. I believe her, OP. Doesn't sound like she's decided to go to individual or couples therapy to work on this with you, OP. It just sounds like you've gone to therapy. What the hell? You told her you're considering leaving and she's like, I wish you did me dirty too so that we could be even and you can get back at me. And is only now conceding to excluding her brother from the wedding. My God. Sunk cost fallacy. You're allowed to step away from this one, OP. This is not a good person to marry, in my honest opinion. You don't have to stick in there just because you've invested 8 years. For some reason, everything is still all about her and she doesn't really see where you're coming from. That's how I'm interpreting this situation. It's taken you 8 years for you to see a side of her that you haven't seen before. You haven't seen it get this bad. She's breaking wedding vows before you've even made them to each other. Like, she is putting others before you. No, no, no. Oh my God, no. And now, on to the update. Some of the comments on here were right. Why didn't I just reach out to him directly and address it? So I did. I spoke with him just now. Just to chat on the phone. He was busy with his son. I said to him in less than a few months, we'll be brothers-in-law, and while helping to prepare everything, it had occurred to me that we're basically strangers to each other, and I asked him for his thoughts. I asked him if there was anything that I could do or say, whether there's something that I'm not understanding about the situation, or what we could do to bridge that gap. He said that he's got no problem with me marrying his sister. I didn't bring it up, and referenced a previous time that he didn't say hello to me when I was in the house. He explained that he's often got a million things to juggle, and due to him forgetting things as he gets older, he doesn't mean to, he's just busy. And that's not what he means to do when I'm over. I did say in all these years, it felt like we had never really talked. He even gave advice for me preparing a speech and suggested that we do something over the Christmas period where he's less busy. I felt like that was a start. To be honest, I'm surprised I even reached out to him myself. But some of the comments on this thread made me realize that should be something that I do. I know about the prejudices, but he was surprisingly okay when it was just me and him talking with no one else around. No comments about deportation or remarks on feminism. I feel even more confused, and yet I feel better at the same time. Even if it means nothing, I did the mature thing and reached out. It's time that I started standing up for myself more. Okay, OP, good luck with that. That's not what I would have done in this situation, but that's what makes stories like these unique. It's interesting seeing the outcome of actions in which I myself would personally not take. He may let 1,000 blossoms bloom when you are face-to-face with him, when you are one-on-one, but behind closed doors and behind your back, he will still be making those comments. He will still be harboring these viewpoints. Hopefully you come back with another update in the future and let us know what the hell is going on. What I can see from this is a potential Ron Stallworth kind of moment. That retired police officer who infiltrated the Ku Klux Klan, and he did a lot of work changing the minds of people who had different opinions to him. That is one potential scenario that I can see from this. Who knows? But I am very interested to see where this goes from here. So keep us updated, keep us posted, OP. Good luck. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for you today. I do hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.